Hello everybody, I'm Lorenzo Marchessi and I'm here right at the beginning of this video we're about to watch to remind you to subscribe to my channel. It's very helpful if you do, and also please tell your friends, your family members, and share it if you can. Love to hear your comments and feedback, but just want to make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching and we'll see you soon. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Geek Authority Show. I'm your host Lorenzo Marchessi. This is the show where I get to talk to all kinds of exciting and talented people, actors, writers, producers, directors, cosplayers, authors, musicians, you name it, I've spoke to them. And today I have a very special guest. She's talented, she's very pretty, and she's an actress pursuing her craft as well as an associate producer. Welcome aboard, JC. Thank you so much for doing this.
Hi, Lorenzo. Thank you so much for having me out. I'm so excited.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, you've done quite a bit as far as acting and you're now associate producing kind of things. So let's get a little into you. Where are you from? Are you a native Californian? Are you a native from somewhere?
No. I am a native from South America. I'm Latina from Ecuador. I was raised in Virginia. So, and then I'm landed here in sunny California trying to chase my dream.
Very cool. Did you know very young you wanted to be an actress?
No.
Okay.
I knew I was, no, I knew that I was a singer. I've always been a singer, you know, a performer. And I had a trauma, I think around the age of 18, 19. So then that I totally stopped singing for like 5 years. You wouldn't hear me. If you would hear me singing, it would be like by myself washing the dishes or something. So I didn't sing for a long time until I finally moved out to LA and I discovered music again. And I started to actually have a band. I wanted a band. So I learned to play the guitar. I had a band. We were at the Key Club, remember when that was open? At the Viper Room downstairs, you know, when that was open. So it's fun, but I discovered also acting during that process. And yeah, it just kind of grabbed me and it just kind of took me on this wave of like wonderful opportunities and people and experiences, some good, some bad. But
wow.
yeah.
I do have a question. Can you talk about, and I understand if you can't, can you talk about that trauma that happened that stopped you from singing, or is it?
You know what? I can't really pinpoint it.
Oh.
Like yeah, it's something that I'm actually kind of thinking about now because I thought it was, I mean, I came from a family of immigrants. So my father and my mother just worked all the time. Why? You know, because they had to, you know, being an immigrant, you don't get paid a lot. And they had 3 little girls that they had to deal with. So a lot of the time they weren't home, they were working. And I thought that it was perhaps because they never had an opportunity to come see me sing, you know?
Right.
And my mother, unfortunately,
were they supportive? Were they supportive of you in terms of your, you know, what you wanted to do?
I don't know about supportive. They weren't really like, they were supportive, but not like extremely supportive. You know what I mean? They were just, again, like the hustle and bustle of trying to make a living in America.
Okay. So how long
and
have
having kids, you know?
Right. You said 3 girls, right?
3 girls.
Yeah. Are you the youngest of the girls?
I'm the youngest. How'd you guess?
Because you're so young looking. It's like, you're like, I tell you, with those big bright eyes and the, you know, like you got a great smile.
Thank you.
And later on we'll look at some of your pictures, and definitely the camera really likes you. So it's all good there. But how long have you been in LA now? How long have you?
Oh gosh, I've been in LA since 2000, so I'm a native now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And yeah, and I hate the cold. And even when people are like, my dad's like, okay, it's enough. Come back home. It's time for you, to come back home. I'm like, how do I drive in the snow?
Yeah.
How do I drive in the snow? I'm sorry. I don't know how. Because I remember when I was driving there and I was going to the mall and I was like 16 or 17. One time I was driving and I went down the hill to the big mall in Virginia in Tyson's Corner, which is one of the biggest now cities in Virginia as well, or towns, I should say, maybe. Um, and my car spinned around. And I
Oh,
was like, oh my God. So I don't know if I could do that again.
well, I can relate. I'm from Chicago. I don't miss Chicago winters and blizzards and chains on the tires and salt on the road. I know. I
Chains on the tires? Do I look like I'm going to put chains on a tire? I'm sorry. Like, I just can't,
okay.
So
So let's talk about your music a little bit. Have you been pursuing the music currently? Are you still with the band?
no, 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 no. As you know, well, maybe you don't know. You look like a musician to me. Were you?
I play a little. I tinkle on the ivories, but I wouldn't call myself a musician.
Okay. Okay. Well, not really, not now. No, I have had, I, in the process of putting my demo together, as well as my new scenes for my acting, people say that during this whole pandemic, people have so much to do, right?
Right.
I don't know who those people are. I certainly am not one of those people. I still have to hustle and do my job and now get ready to come and take embrace technology, even though I just would love to just be talent.
The Zoom, right?
Exact, exactly. Like I have to learn all this stuff too. So that's a lot. On top of that, with the fact that we're dealing with all this new things that are being thrown to us, a new government, a new, the everything. I mean,
Wow.
everything's evolving, having the vaccine for COVID-19 or not. And, that's just recently happened. So all that stuff is a lot for me. So all these folks who don't have anything to do right now because for some reason I don't know who they are, please send me a message because I have plenty of work for you.
Okay. So, okay, let's switch to the acting side. So, when you came to LA, at what point did you start doing the acting in terms of get involved? Did you audition right away? Did someone ask you to come check it out, or what?
Oh my gosh, I've had so much fun with acting and so many fun opportunities. I was working as an associate producer. I was following my dream again of after my trauma, to come back and sing again, but so horribly sick of stepping on the stage. So
Really?
horribly sick that yes, that's why I couldn't do it. So I just
You're talking
uh
about stage fright, right?
stage fright, yeah. So I was working at the time as an associate producer. Oh, I love that. As an associate producer at a company in Beverly Hills called 26 Films. It was a women-run film production company, and I was like, yes, women, and I'm learning about women, and these women are in power, and they're producing and making film. And I've always been I moved to LA to pursue the dream. Why? Because I love that. I love film, TV, theater, event production. That's all I've done ever. So it was like amazing, and having women that I could look up to were married, have families, and still looked amazing when they came to the office. I mean, if it would have been me, I would have been like in sweatpants and a sweatshirt if it was my office, right?
Comfortable.
That's
Yeah.
but no, they're so beautiful. They still are so beautiful and so put together and so well, and such great people that I worked with. One is a producer still, Michelle Hedgick, and the other one, the other producer was Natalie Marciano, which was married to one of the Marciano brothers. Which, if you know the guest and that clothing line. I think J Lo just did something for them.
Is this one theater they were all at, or a bunch of theaters?
No, that's a film production company.
Oh,
so
okay.
At that time, it was called 26 Films, and I was working with them as a just assistant starting out. And I went to one of their Foley's, and I don't know why I was invited. I forgot. I guess I just wanted to know more about it. I have such an inquisitive mind, especially if it comes to something like this. I love lights and my whole now office is ready to shoot. I spent 6 months working on that. So
And my bedroom is now a studio with lights. I've got lights everywhere. It's cool.
It's cool, right? It's cool, but it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of this and that won't work. But anyway, so at that point, I went to a session with a gentleman. His name is Victor Ennis, and he is actually a wonderful designer, sound design. He did one of my favorite one of my favorite films, which was Drive, with not the new one, but the older one with I forget his name. But also Prometheus. Prometheus is one movie that was just like high. I mean, top tier, like talent, like everything, money. So it's amazing. So anyway, so I went to work with them, and I did the exercise, and we were doing a film that there were Mexican kids, and since I was Latina, I could come in and be like, Las Flores, and speak like that in Spanish, because they needed Latino people, because the film was about Latinos. Or not about it, but it had a Latino theme in Mexico. And then I met this fellow, his friend, my friend now, Humberto Amor, that introduced me to the theater. He was involved in the theater community, in a Latino theater community in LA. And it was generally Mexican,
Which one was it?
Backgrounds. It's called Teatristas.
Okay.
Teatristas. Yeah, they were an independent production company that put out like community plays. So it started there, and I loved it. I don't know what it was. And apparently they liked me, and they thought I had talent, because they kept hiring me, And from that point, that is what really lit my stage bug, and I looked at it different at that point. And I started, even though sometimes I still have that kind of craziness about stage fright, I have learned on how to manage it, and I have to manage it still.
Right. And I'm sure a lot of your fellow actors were supportive of the fact that you might be a little nervous, and kind of walk you through that. Did they help you out a little?
No. They didn't know any of this stuff. I'm just sharing this stuff with you now. It was just something that I guess I was just ready to try. And so I did. I wanted to meet new people. They were very opening their arms. The first folks that opened their arms to me here in California, having no one here in LA, and no one except professionals in the industry.
What was the first play you did? What was the first show you were in?
I think it was a Christmas play. I'm trying to remember if it was a Christmas play.
Okay.
It was a traditional Mexican Christmas play, and it's about and I played the pretty peasant girl who wants to be with the shy, peasant guy, and so I played that part in the play, in the Virgin Mary.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Have you done any musicals, like musical theater?
I did. I did musicals. Uh, I did The Beauty and the Beast. I played Belle, the lead
Wow.
on
The Disney
that
version?
musical. That was great. I also, but yeah, it was really fun. It was what?
Was it the Disney
Oh,
version?
you
Beauty and the Beast?
froze. Yes, the Disney version. But it was the Disney version, but it was for a I'm sorry, for an independent company, an independent producer for yeah, in Boyle Heights, in Boyle Heights.
Okay.
It was, the theater was called La Casa del Mexicano.
Okay. And before this pandemic, I was actually a critic and reviewer. So I would go to theaters and movies and all kinds of production stuff to review them, their productions. And one of the theaters I used to go to a lot in terms of the Latino community. Have you ever heard of the Ricardo Montalban Theater in Hollywood?
Yes,
Okay, and
I have.
they have wonderful productions there. You should check
Yeah,
that out too.
I know. I've been a little bit shy, because, um, Ricardo Montalban, he was one of the lead Mexican actors for so long, and then he broke the barrier with Fantasy Island, and started working in the American film. So, yeah, like, I grew up watching Mexican films. That was in South America, in Ecuador, because that's where the theater came from: Mexico, Brazil, and now Colombia. So in Spain, of course, Spain, but
Do you have a favorite actor or actress that's your favorite actor performer?
my favorite actor and performer currently, uh yes, and it really bothers me so much because my internet's not working and I could be literally looking it up. um
Oh,
but I can't. But she is the lead from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. uh
okay.
Moni, what? Oh gosh, she has such a exotic name that I always forget it. It's like Numi Mara.
Okay.
And
And that was a great film, and she was amazing. So,
okay, yes, amazing, because it was three times. She did three versions, like, the woman with the dragon tattoo, and then I think it was the spider something. There's three other ones that are amazing. She is an amazing actress. I think she's had a great and amazing career, now working again here in the American market. Uh, so, gosh, she's just my favorite right now.
do you have a favorite male actor or performer?
Well, because of the looks, is Thor.
You
You know
mean
who Thor is?
Christopher Hemsworth?
Yes.
Everybody likes Christopher Hemsworth.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God, he's such a hottie.
I I tell you, he could read the phone book and people would just faint. So,
Exactly. Did you watch the movie Vacation? It was just recently. It's like a sequel from the previous, the Ringwalds.
no, you mean the which one? You mean with Chevy Chase? The original?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the originals. But now they just made one with Christina Applegate. I can't remember the other guy, but it is the funniest movie ever, and he's in it. Chris
Oh,
is in it, and
I
he
didn't.
plays this cowboy guy with with a big part.
Okay. Did you
You
see?
gotta watch that.
Did you see the reboot of Ghostbusters with the women?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see him in it? He plays the
Oh
ditzy
yes, yes,
receptionist. I mean, I
yes.
never thought he could play like dumb, but he did it pretty well.
And that's the thing, as an actor, you kind of have to be like, because you got to live with this. People are watching you, and that, you know what I mean? You got to live this, and you got to be okay with that.
Right.
So he has such a great sense of humor because he's taking those roles that he himself is making fun of himself, right? So
It
I
looked
just
like he
think,
was having fun, and it looks like the ladies loved him. So I couldn't stop laughing. I didn't think it was a great movie, but I did like his part in it. So
exactly. I think that, I don't know. I think in my way, I was born a certain way. So I think we can't delete the sexiness out of a women completely. There has to be some sexiness as a woman,
Right.
so I don't know. I just like to see women as women, not dressed as men, or what I'm saying.
Right. Right. Masculinity,
Not that,
masculizing
not
women.
that it would be a blockbuster.
Okay.
Only me,
Let's
I would be wearing a little top with a short.
all right. Let's take a look
I'm
at some of the
kidding.
pictures you sent me. Um, you sent me this, and this is Othello, and I know you wanted to talk about this.
Othello is currently I am acting in Othello as Bianca. It's a tragedy from William Shakespeare, and it's a wonderful, wonderful, and tragic story. But oh my gosh, and if you love just to be entertained, uh, listening to some of these actors and listening to the words of Shakespeare come through, it is beautiful. Those words are just so beautiful and poetic. So I'm inviting everyone to, oh, I don't know if this is going to show by the time that, but we are going to have it probably
On YouTube or
also
something on the
available
website.
for everybody to watch at the rugbytheatercompany.org.
Okay. Now I got to ask you a question. Did you find reading, taking on the character of Bianca, a little challenging because Shakespeare's language is not easy?
Well, luckily, Lorenzo, I went to school and I have taken some classes in Shakespeare's plays, and I have a monologue actually. When I came to LA, I wasn't uh, a trained actor. When I started to act in the plays, I learned all on stage, and all of it was a lot of it was instinct, you know. But I
And
knew that
practical
there,
experience, what you were doing.
yes, yes, and honestly, I was a method actor already, even before uh, I knew what method was. I
Can you
remember
describe
shooting.
method
I'm
for
so,
Can you describe method for the audience who doesn't know
oh
what
yeah,
method?
method acting is, and I'll try to do the best. Is Stanislavski, the creator of the
Originator.
method,
Yeah.
which is basically a lot of actors do it, but a lot of actors also get so into the role they kind of it can damage them. So that's what really method is really being the character. Not that it's going to damage you, but really being the character. Really like some people like Heath Ledger, for example, was the Joker. He was the Joker. You had to call him the Joker. He came in doing this stuff. That's the kind of method we're talking about. It's part of you. And I had, looking back, uh, I had those instincts already, playing some roles previously in Virginia, or one role in Virginia. Was, yeah, one role that was a dramatic role in Virginia that required a lot of emotional pool. So, I learned that. I went to school. I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, even though I was a little bit older than everybody else. Everybody goes at 18 or 19 because that's what they want to do. I mean, I went to George Mason University. I have, a bachelor's degree in fine arts from there. So I did all that stuff. Then I came to LA. So, you know what I mean? I had the years, but not the like streetwise, right?
Okay.
Because everything was given to me, and my mom and my dad were really very wonderful uh, parents, and there was nothing that I had lacking. Um, but being alone, it's a different story. You're like, well, what happened? Where's my food? I gotta order it. I gotta make it. Nobody's bringing it for me. But I'm sorry, I'm digressing.
No, that's okay. So when was this taken? Is this one of your? Do you use this headshot a lot?
Yes, this is my current headshot. This is my latest headshot that I use. And this is really me now, I think. I mean, even though my
Excellent.
hair is a little bit different and everything, but folks, in the entertainment industry with actresses, they're like, take the hair off your face. You know, we don't want a lot of like cleavage. This is
Do you
me.
want
I love,
Do you want to
you
give a
know,
shout out to the photographer? Who's your photographer?
Gosh, my photographer, his name is Scott Photography, and I can't remember his last name.
Oh,
But yes, if you want to send me a message on my Instagram, jc.cadena3, of who that photographer was, and you're that interested, I'll send you the information.
well, there you go. Did he take this one too?
No, that was actually, you see the name is right there,
Oh, you're right.
the
Mark
bottom.
Mark Day Photography.
Yes, that was actually a whole bunch of us women were casted in this shoot in a, what is it called? A car repair shop.
Auto body.
And you see the one behind me. That was it was like a VW Bug from like I don't know what year, but it was like a beautiful car. And the one that I'm sitting on, I believe that was a Maserati. So we would go from section to section to section, like shooting on these amazing cars. I mean, that's me, right? Because I feel I'm a little conservative.
Yeah,
For some girls.
I love your hair too. I love how long it is.
Thank you. Yes, that's my natural hair color, black. Like so, but right now, I decided to go different for the pandemic and went blonde, and this is what happened to the hair. Look how short it is now. Wow. Because I dyed it and bleached it blonde.
Now, I love this photo. This is one you could be like we were talking earlier. You could be a lawyer or a doctor or a very businesswoman, but very feminine shot. I really like that.
Thank you. I feel that, yes, that's exactly what that headshot is for. For casting directors and producers to say, yes, that's her. Let's bring her in for an audition and let's cast her better.
Yeah, and we were also talking about, you're okay, like if you get a forensic scientist or detective with all that dialogue, that technical blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yes, I am. And, there's a way of how to learn how to put in your body those weird words. It's more about bringing it in your body. Even if you don't know what that word is, like making sense out of in your head what it means. And yes.
So it's easy to say, right? Okay.
Yeah, so it just comes out naturally.
Right. Okay, I love this. What are you doing here?
Well, okay, you're like, JC, tell us what you do. And like, I'm a theater actress. I love the theater. I love film and television. But there's nothing like the theater. You get to do it once and then that's it. And there's that like emotion of people right there. And like, there has to be such a focus and such determination. And so like your body, your hair, everything is this person that that you've chosen to be. And that's what I'm doing here. This is a character, actually, it's called Grinning Skull. I believe it has just been recognized and is up for an award, which I'm not waiting to hear. But also I was playing a 1900 woman bathroom attendant.
Okay, do you know who the writer was?
The writer is Hikibu Hutchinson. She is an African-American woman, playwright from LA. It's a wonderful play. And what I love about this was that she's Latina. Okay. And that she was a union organizer. So at this point, we're talking with the other two ladies about what's happening in the unions. And I want them to actually come in and vote and make a vote for what pay or whatever's happening in the union. And I thought that was such a powerful character for a Latina to have, that I've never seen it before anywhere else. So I really love this. And that's what I wanted to share with you. That's me on stage, putting one of my, towels in the bathroom where I come in and help. So it was.
Is it a one act or a 2 act play?
No, this was actually a short film, short theater festival,
Oh,
and at the Rugby Theater Company, the Paul Robeson Theater Festival, which is usually every 2 years, but this year won't happen, so it will happen probably next year. But Sikivu Hutchinson, I've also worked with her on another project called Narcolepsy Inc. And that's a utopia type of futuristic, messed up situation.
and she wrote that too, as well.
She wrote that too, yes. Uh-huh.
Good for her. All right, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. Oh, hello. Have you done modeling, by the way? Have you done
I
modeling?
do modeling, but I don't chase modeling. Like, I hustle for that acting job.
Okay. All right, and then
But yes, this I love. This is actually one of the first. It was called SAS Agency, and it was in downtown LA. And it was one of the first agencies that wanted to sign me. So
nice.
I was so happy. You can tell,
I,
right?
I believe this is the last one we have. So love the eyes. I love the whole jaw. You're very sharp looking, um, very young looking. So that's always good.
Thanks.
So
Well,
is
thank you so much.
same photographer?
That's the same photographer that took that is the whole set to the ones that I've shared with you that you see now. That's the
Right.
same photographer, Scott Photography. I can share that information with you later.
Okay.
But yeah, I also just at that point I had gotten a new agency, Baron Entertainment, and MVP Management. So they kind of like are helping me and shaping me through the industry, because this is me, but the industry needs to see me a little less like you
Absolutely.
know and
All right. The
yeah.
one link you did send me is to the theater itself. So do you want to walk me through the Roby Theater, or
Oh
where should I
yes.
go?
So currently, I love the entertainment business, and I do front and behind the camera, which I think is a wonderful way of just pushing myself into this industry. But the Rugby Theater Company, I'm there as a social producer now. We currently have monthly events to help the community as an African American community. Um, Ready and set to talk about the Black experience. Really, this is the where I did the film. I'm sorry, the short play festival with Sikivu Hutchinson, and this is where I met her. With her, she's an African American playwright in LA, and the Rugby Theater Company opens that up for uh, playwrights that want to have an opportunity to grow. They have a playwrights lab. And also, the dramaturg is Hispanic as well. Her name is Dr. Daphne Secre. So I love the Rugby Theater Company because it also has a consciousness of community. They've always been there for the people of color. And it's not about celebrating 1 month or 1 day of the year. It's about actually living that life, because there is a lot of racism, unfortunately, in the world.
Oh yeah.
And the more we show our faces and tell people who we are, then maybe middle America or other folks that haven't seen us can see what we look like. And not afraid of what that means. You
And
know,
this is Othello. This is the one you're in, right?
yes, that's Othello. That's actually going to be playing on February 28th at 2 p.m. And you can actually go to this link, register, and watch the show Othello on the 28th with us.
So basically, all the characters will be in like a Zoom format, and you're each reading your parts on camera. I
Yes,
notice
exactly.
I notice it says 2 to 6, so you're reading the whole text, right? It's 4 hours.
Oh yes, it's a 3 hour play.
Right.
And so if you do not like theater,
Actually, it's 4. It's 2 to 6 here.
Oh,
Uh,
2 to 6. And we're probably, I mean, it's a long play, yes. But if you do not like theater and you're not ready for Shakespeare, then this might not be for you. But if you want to be experiencing Shakespeare, a wonderful actors, including myself, of course, rendition of that amazing play by William Shakespeare, then you're invited. Everyone's invited and can watch the show. And again, it's not about what the color is, it's about the acting. Even though Othello is about a more marrying Caucasian or white individual at that time. And since Iago comes in because he's jealous of Othello, he's
right.
jealous of who he is and starts to like take his world apart. So it's a tragedy. It'll make you laugh and it's a sweet one. And it'll make you cry.
Right. And to put another spin on it, for those of you who have never, read or experienced Shakespeare on stage, this is a good chance to get a taste of his style, his writing. He's great at comedy. He's great at tragedy. He's great at love, all that stuff. So it might be something good for if you've never seen Shakespeare. This would be a good opportunity to hear his words and then see the performances, be they virtual, in the boxes, but still how the characters can be brought to life via the performance kind of situation. So I
Yeah,
think
it's we've had this with all this pandemic and the way that we're having to stay away 6 feet away and quarantine. This is the way that we can still continue our art.
right.
Our we are theater goers. We are our artists that need that to be happy. That's what makes us. So this is an opportunity of us to continue having theater survive the pandemic
And share it with the
because
public.
yes, and share with the public because if we close our doors, we're done.
Right.
How are we able to continue? And that's work for a lot of people. That's work for actors, that's work for directors, that's work for designers. So it's actually a company putting and trying to get jobs for artists. So it's very important to continue to uh, donate
Support the arts. Yeah.
and support the arts. Definitely. I mean, the Rugby Theater Companies definitely, please support the Rugby Theater Company, but there are so many theater companies out there that would love a donation. And it goes directly to the production of the theater. It directly comes back to the community. And arts is the way that we can actually are open to also other things. We're able to even bring in something that we feel is important to date and show young kids without any blocks or walls a different view, right?
Very well said. Very well said. And if anything, it might be just a wonderful form of escapism to take you away from all the drama that's on TV and the pandemic and the fact that you're locked in your house or whatever. It's a good release of you know um, getting to see something you've never seen. Number one, and number two, just an escapism, just to have a good time and do it for yourself. I think that's a good psychology.
Yes.
There you go. What about the Instagram? Tell us about your Instagram here.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, my Instagram, everybody, we will be opening. It's private right now, but we will be opening it the day that this show will air. And all my friends that want to be friends, just please tag me and I'll say yes. But after that date, it will be closed.
Okay. And I love the picture I was telling you earlier about you and I think everybody's getting into the Bernie thing.
I
So
love it. Was oh, did I tell you? I was like laughing and laughing, and then my friend sent that to me, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta put this up. You know?
very fun. Very
So,
fun.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I like this one. The sporty look here.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you got quite a few looks. So
Yeah, ethnically ambiguous. Oh, that's me with my blonde hair. That was in March. Okay, that was me.
Wow. And a little bunny rabbit, it looks like.
Oh no, that's my dog.
Oh, that's a dog. Okay.
Oh, and that's my bunny. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Bunny and the dog's over here. Okay.
I was
This is
like, no,
kind of
that's my dog.
Shakespearean right here. This middle one.
Right? I know. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk about some of the things people watching this, say kids or young people or people thinking about the industry. What advice would you give someone who wants to be an actor or go to do some theater or acting for film or TV?
Stay where you are. I'm just kidding. No,
Okay.
no. I feel like during Christmas, Scrooge, not Scrooge, the Grinch was saying, don't move to LA, stay a whole back. And I was laughing so hard because you're in LA and there's so much traffic and you're like, stop moving here, stop. Because now, I did that, but of course nobody else can do it. But
Okay.
no, I think things have changed, right? Seriously, things have changed. um I don't know what that means, and if it means that you have to live in Los Angeles to be an actor at this point of the game. As you know, Tyler Perry has a
It's called the
studio
compound. It's called the
in
compound.
in Atlanta,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of actors there now, and there's a lot of work that is coming from there. So also Canada, people are going to Canada or living in Canada.
Well, they haven't opened their borders yet, but if you're on a project, they're doing what's called the bubble. So 2 weeks in a bubble, and then you go to the production, and then when you're done, you leave. But yeah, it's
Exactly. So the production used to be here in LA, but something happened. I believe it was the taxes and issues with
it's just too expensive. You know,
exactly
too expensive.
too much money being asked of independent producers that are it's a magic uh, act to put a movie together. There's so many little spots that could go wrong at any moment. So on top of that, to put excess of union bonds or bonds in order for you to be able to work with some actors that are union. It kind of has a little bit weirded out the folks, and that's why I feel that the entertainment industry is now scattered throughout. Some, I mean, people are also looking. I mean, I came from South America, Ecuador, right?
Right.
And Steven Spielberg, and I did all that way through, and I worked all my way through here, and I'm in LA, and I'm hustling and bustling, and now Steven Spielberg, because he can hire someone in Ecuador and be like, oh, I need a person, this person, and he goes to Ecuador instead of really finding the Ecuadorian American actress that is right here. So now the world is opening up too, because I can give you an audition right over the internet.
Right.
You don't have to now come if I don't like your audition. And I
Right.
can go all over the world now and ask Colombia, Brazil,
But
Spain.
let me ask you this: would you prefer a Zoom audition, or would you rather be in person with the director and the producers?
Uh, that's an interesting question. Um,
And the reason I say that is because on Zoom, it's one thing because you're basically looking at a television, more or less. And to see a range of an actor, you're limited to the box, so to speak, as opposed to being a free, speaker or actress auditioning in front of them. You can be broader, it
well,
can be bigger.
no, those are two different types, and I'm doing three, two different types of auditioning. When I'm auditioning in film and television, they're not looking at the rest of my body. They're looking at what you're looking right now, right? A medium close up. So, and if it's film and TV, I can't be out here and I can't be doing this because it's really a more in your face medium. And therefore, my focus is now with me in the eyes. Now I'm
Okay.
like, hi, Lorenzo.
Ooh.
How are you, Lorenzo? How are you?
Hello.
Right? So you see the difference that I pull you in with
Absolutely.
acting in theater. Yes, I mean, that's a different audition, because now you have to command the stage. Now you have an entire stage that you can really grow big on,
Wow.
you know. But with film, this is all I have. It has to be through here, and focus, and really looking at my um, actor friend here, maybe my lover, I don't know, maybe we're gonna have a fight or something, and really working with that actor,
Very,
really
very well
working through
said.
that actor.
Very well said. A lot of key points for people to pick up there. Wow.
I've taken a few classes. Oh, so going back, going back to that, I think training. If you, one thing that I wish I would have done differently would have been that I wish I would have continued my singing, and as a young age, and not ever stop, you
Okay.
know, because I feel that if you want to be an artist, some things it requires constant attention. It requires constant work. It requires classes. It requires this. It requires that. Even if you're a natural and you're beautiful and everything is happening for you, you still need to know how to get in of a character and get safely out of a character, whatever method of acting you're trying to use. So
Okay. So say that again. What was your regret that you didn't do what?
oh, so I feel like for the longest time, remember when I had that trauma and I stopped singing? I wish I would have not. I mean, I wish that I wouldn't have done that, because I feel like I stopped training in that sense. I stopped, and everything was a little bit difficult, right? It was kind of after that trauma, it was like I was no longer able to like stand on the stage as easily and as naturally as I did before. I had to come back and grow on that, and that took years. So, and if I wanted to be an actress, and if I knew that I wanted to be an actress since I was a young kid, then the very support of the community, and maybe, me too, to entail and take those classes. I mean, it's just honestly, it's not as easy as simple as people think. It's like, I want to be an actor, move here. No, it's like headshots and resumes and auditions and agents, and the right agent and the wrong agent, and the horrible audition that I just had, and hustling and bustling, and like learning new technology now. So
And
it
you need thick skin, don't you? Because you're going to be
oh,
rejected more than accepted. Correct.
exactly. And, being an artist, that's such a catch 22.
Right.
You're artist, you're here with your emotions, and that what brings out, the audience, and them able to like relate with you and say, yes, that's how I feel, because I feel that way, right? But yet we have to have a thick skin at the same time when somebody says, no, you're not good enough. And that sucks. I
Right.
mean, let me tell you. And also, I've had situations where a director has told me, uh, you know, no, no one wants to see two people of color on the screen.
Wow.
Yeah, and things like that, meaning that I wasn't getting the role because I was Latina. But yes, but as you live these I don't know, uh, thorns, if you want to call them. There's roses and there's thorns. If you also these thorns, you learn from those,
But you got to move on, right? You got to push forward.
and you got to push forward. But you got to have that pushing forward, because let me tell you, a thorn hurts. Whoever you are, your thick skin, it still hurts. You still need to be able to come back and say, I still love it, and that's again of lots of auditioning, lots of meeting people, lots of technical stuff that does not show me, that you don't see, lots of
Right.
hours of auditioning, lots of non-paying gigs, lots of
And
small.
I've had a lot of actors tell me that I've interviewed say, it's if you don't love it, don't do it, because you're going to hit all those roadblocks and those thorns and everything. But if you still love doing what you're doing, keep pushing through. So
Yeah. And the key is to find that, because always are out there. There's people out there. There's always something, someone seeing something, and it's taking you a different way. And it looks so beautiful because it's so easy. It's a it's a weekly paycheck. It's a weekly job. So you get kind of taken, into these like things that kind of take you away from being an artist. It's easier. I wouldn't say easy. It's easier to go to a corporate job every day and collect a paycheck than getting up every day and try to find where that paycheck is coming from and pick up a job every day.
So you're talking about like a working actress trying to find her next job, so to speak. Yeah, because you don't know when your next job is. Because not
you don't know
everyone.
when your next job is exactly.
And
We
you don't
had
know
a
if you're going to get a
pandemic.
series. So.
Yeah, we had a pandemic. You don't know when things are going to be shut down. But I realized at one point when I stopped those corporate jobs is that I really enjoy being and am happy being an artist.
Okay.
That's who I am, and I've worked so hard for it. I have 2 diplomas to show. Exactly. So now it's like, I got to keep fighting still, right?
Absolutely, and everybody should, especially if they love what they do and they want to keep doing it. I tell you, JC, you are surprisingly enlightening, surprisingly smart and intelligent, and I don't have to tell you. Well, I mean, I didn't expect so much insight from you. I mean, you really. This is somebody watching this is going to actually learn something in terms of the persistence and the commitment to what you're doing. And you mentioned education, and not a lot of people believe in that these days. So.
Yeah, it's true. And, sometimes even with the education, sometimes people without all that background in craft and tools gets the job. So you also have to remember that it's a real magic show, I think.
Exactly.
Right?
And just so you know, I didn't mean anything by, surprising them. What I meant by that is you really it's like you touched on things that not a lot of other people had about what's important, to the business and doing what you're doing. And it's refreshing, and it's like it's people, kids, young people wanting to do this need to hear that. It's not easy. You got to put the work into it, but just make sure, you persist and you punch through and ignore all the, you're going to get a lot of no's than more than yeses. So you've got to learn to deal with that. And sometimes they hurt,
Yeah, sometimes it hurts, and there's no path. There's no path that says that's the path you take in order for success, whatever that success looks like for you. There's just no path. You yourself are looking through, learning from,
you
successes.
just said it again. You just said it again. Learning. As long as you're learning on the way, taking it all in constructively.
Exactly. It's like that's really it's not for everybody.
Right.
I didn't think it was for me either because, I watched my family go to a corporate job day in and day out,
I'm curious. What do your sisters think of what you're doing?
I think they're very supportive. My father's very supportive. I don't know. I mean, my niece likes it. My sister, sometimes I actually had her read for me because I had an audition that the reader was talking in Spanish. And so I had to, like act with my sister. So that was fun. And she says, the other day I told her, I said, I don't think anybody knows what being an actor really means. And she said, I do. I know how hard it is, she goes. And so she's so cute. And I'm like, I don't know if you do, Catherine. She's like, I do. I'm like, okay, she does. You know what I mean? Fine.
Well,
She's heard.
she's gonna love this interview. You gave her a nice kudos.
She's heard, but she's heard all my, I talk to my sister all the time. So she's heard my tears, like I can't deny that, there's been some things that I just have been so heartbroken.
Right.
And but still, you're like, oh, get up, move on, like, okay, what am I going to do now to make me happy and be that person who I am? I'm just being more true of who I am. I'm not being someone else. I'm being me. I'm being
Right.
more of me.
And from what I see, you're bright, you're positive, so positive. It's kind of infectious. I think people need that kind of, positivity around them, to help them.
Positivity, but also with a realistic look in the world. Like, for example, we can't just say prayers without any acting. We can pray, but God also asks you to act of your passion. We just don't pray and expect things just to happen and be miracles. There has to be some action behind that. So it's positivity with reality, right? I think that's it.
Okay. I'm like, okay. Well, listen, JC, this was amazing. I appreciate the time that you spent talking to me, and obviously everybody's watching is going to take a lot away with this, and this is something you might want to rewind and watch again just to pick up all these wonderful points you mentioned. So
I will. I mean, it's a little hard to watch myself, but I'll make myself do it.
Well, I'm talking to the audience who's watching us.
Oh,
they should rewind this and listen to you. You've got some good advice. So, but again, I can't thank you enough for obviously doing this show and bringing your personal side to this, which is kind of cool. But I do want to mention to everybody, if you haven't hit the subscribe button during the show, this is very important to me and the Geek Authority. So just somewhere on here, there's a button there, wherever you push. Don't forget the little bell. And when you push that button, it actually sends you an email when I drop a new video, and you can watch it at your convenience at any time. But I do want to mention my other shows. I have the other show, a brand new show I started called Making Entertainment. The Geek Authority's Making Entertainment, and where I go inside the productions of various shows that are either going on stage, making films, or Zoom projects, where I talk to the actors and all the writers and directors and people behind the scenes. You get to learn how a project is done. I also have my TGA's Talk About, where we talk about all kinds of subjects. There was a 3-part series we did on Disneyland and California Adventure closing. Really good, very emotional, surprisingly. It's supposed to be 1 episode, but ended up being 3 because everybody was sharing their personal items and stories, and it got really emotional. I also have my Unboxing the Geek Authority, where I open stuff for the first time. You see it, I see it, we all see it for the first time. My Mysterious Chamber of Collectibles, where I actually go inside my own closet and under my pillows and pull out things that I've been collecting for many, many years. Many years. But anyway, JC, I want to thank you again so much for doing this. This was fun for me. Hopefully it was fun for you.
Oh, yes, it was so fun. Thank you, Lorenzo, so much for having me on your show. You
Absolutely.
are so amazing.
Oh, thank you. I'll put your links below too, so people can click on them. So
yes, and subscribe to the Geek Authority, but because maybe he'll just have me back again.
Absolutely. Especially if you're involved with projects. I'd love to talk to your cast and crew and have you guys all together. That would be great.
Excellent.
But, absolutely. So everyone, thank you so much for watching, and let's say bye for now, and we'll see you next time.